Attention over here. I want to call your attention over here. A big part of our lesson is going to be on Reconstruction. What is Reconstruction? Reconstruction is a period of time after the Civil War. The country needed to be reconstructed. I'm thinking Reconstruction, that's a long word. Is there a synonym that we can come up with to replace Reconstruction? Remake? Remodel. All right, here's an example. We know that the Union soldiers went to Georgia, they destroyed the railroads, they destroyed the power, so the Confederacy weren't able to communicate. They burned the streets, they burned cows, hogs, they looted homes. So when I say Reconstruction, I need a synonym. What can we use? What's going to need to happen to those roads and start over? So what do we need to do, Dennis? If we start over, what are we doing?
Make more babies.
We're going to rebuild.
That's what I said.
We are going to need to rebuild. So whenever I say Reconstruction, I want you to be thinking about rebuilding. The country needed to rebuild after a very long, devastating war, okay? ESPN factors, we're gonna need to know that, which we talked about a long time ago, but when I say ESPN, over here, ESPN factors include economical, social, political, and environmental. So when I talk about economical factors, what am I talking about mostly? Money. Cha-ching. When I say social, who am I? People. How about political?
Government.
The government. And what about environmental? What surrounds us, our surrounding, nature, environment, nature, the things that surround us. Yes. So look at the images to help us understand so that when we start our lesson, we kind of already have the background knowledge. Okay? Amendment number 13, based on the image, what is it?
Slavery. Abolishment of slavery.
Okay, what does it mean to abolish something?
To remove.
To remove?
Yes.
To get rid of. Okay? So the 14th Amendment gave citizenship, equal and legal rights to anyone born in the United States, including freed slaves. Do we remember the name of a very important guy we learned about 2 weeks ago? He tried to sue, he couldn't do it. He was Dred Scott. So now with the 14th Amendment, guess who's now able to sue? Dred Scott. Now he's a citizen. He's no longer seen as somebody's property. Okay? The 15th Amendment. Oh, here's our friend, Dred Scott. He's no longer property. He's now a citizen. 15th Amendment guaranteed that the right to vote could not be denied based on someone's race or skin color. And then, lastly, we're going to talk about a very important organization that was there for former slaves after the abolition of slavery. So when I say Freedmen's Bureau, I want you to think of freedmen as the former slaves. They're no longer slaves, they're free. So now the Freedmen's Bureau provided the necessary things that they needed after they were free, like food, clothing, shelter, and most importantly, an education. Slaves were not allowed to read. It was prohibited. They were allowed to read one book. Can anybody guess what that book is?
Bible.
Who? Bible. The Bible. Okay? So, Freedmen's Bureau, an organization that provided assistance to former slaves. So now, we have two guiding questions. One, what were the ESPN problems during Reconstruction, and how were they addressed? And then secondly, how did the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments and the Freedmen's Bureau change individual rights in the United States. I'm gonna give you your student activity handout. The very first assignment is a poem from this young lady. She's the youngest person to recite a poem at a presidential inauguration. So we're gonna read her poem. As we read the poem on your student activity handout, you are going to circle words or phrases in her poem that might sound similar to what Abraham Lincoln would have been feeling after the Civil War. Yes, Amon?
I can hand it out.
I got it. Thank you so much, though. I have a system. You take that in. I'll take this in. Thank you. I changed my mind.
Oh, I can pass it out now?
Yeah. Just count the amount of people and have them take one, pass it back.
Pass on the front for me.
Yes, sir. You need two more?
First, don't finish first.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Get your pencils in line. Oh, Allison, that's because you have a couple. Say what? Ahmad, you're so helpful. Do you remember what we're, okay. Ahmad, do you remember what we're supposed to be doing?
Yeah, we're gonna read that.
Hold on, hang on. For the class, I want you to repeat for me exactly what we're gonna get into.
We're gonna read her poem, and
Uh-huh.
then once we finish, we're gonna write the stuff in the handout.
Actually, as we're reading her poem, we are going to, at the same time, circle words and phrases that we think Abraham Lincoln would have probably been feeling after the Civil War.
Yeah.
All right, are we ready?
Yeah.
Let's see if we can do this in,
5 minutes.
not 5, way less.
10.
3
hours.
I got you. There's sharpened pencils up front. The Hill We Climb by Amanda Gorman. I want you looking at your copy and I want you circling as I go. Put yourself in Abraham Lincoln's shoes. We just fought a war. You're the president. You have a lot on your hand. Can this poem, can you relate to it if you were Abraham Lincoln? All right. We will rise from the gold-limbed hills of the west. We will rise from the windswept northeast, where our forefathers first realized revolution. We will rise from the lake-rimmed cities of the Midwestern states. We will rise from the sun-baked south. We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover. And every known nook of our nation and every corner called our country, our people, diverse and beautiful, will emerge. Battered and beautiful, when day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it, for there is always light. If only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it. It's okay, with 30 seconds left to go. Oscar, what's one of the words that you circled? All right, take out your whiteboards. Take out your whiteboards. This is for everyone. And this is going off of our lesson objective. Explain the different plans for Reconstruction and explain the impacts of the Freedmen's Bureau. On your whiteboard, when it comes to our lesson objective, has she used a word that ties into what we're going to be learning about today? If so, I want you to write that word on your whiteboard. I'm gonna give you 30 seconds. Look over the words and tell me, does Amanda's poem include the topic we're going to be learning about in our lesson? 30 seconds. What is that word?